So for the video package project, you'll find all the material you need on Canvas. Go to Files, like you always do, and then you'll see a folder that says Package Project Materials. And inside of that folder, there will be a 20-minute raw footage file. There will be 2 voice tracks or 2 audio files, and then there will also be a copy of the script. So remembering now what this is it's 20 minutes of video of a demonstration that occurred in downtown BG. And what it is, again, is people marching down the street, stopping every couple of blocks at different banks and giving testimonials. And then the audio track is actually the recorded script. So all you have to do there is just simply work with with either one of the 2 that are in the files folder. Again, you'll see 2 audio tracks in there. One will be left channel, one will be right channel. Either one is fine. You can use either one and just simply drop it on your timeline like I have done here. And then what you'll end up doing is you'll cut it up. There are a couple of times where we start over with the read, so there'll be a couple of false takes. So make sure you don't include those. Listen to the audio files completely before you actually start to cut it up, to make sure, of course, that you have the portion of the file that you want. So again, we have the video, and I've started to cut it up a little bit here. We have the audio, which again is here. And I'm going to recommend, you certainly can do it any way you want to, but I'm going to recommend that you use the audio file of the voice track and put that into audio track 3. And the reason I suggest that is because you're going to need audio track 1 and audio track 2 for the natural sound from the video. So I think it's going to be easiest for you if you use audio track 3 for the voice track, again, or the reading of the script, basically. So again, I've cut up some of my video here. I've looked at my script, and as you look at it, you're going to see again basically where the parts of the video are that you're going to need. Now remember, as you look at the script, it's going to say take package, and this is where the actual package is going to begin. Do not worry about the paragraph before that, the very first paragraph where it says Anchorman. That's actually just and the way that the script would be written for the anchor person to read. But what we're talking about is this portion where it says take package. And this is what's been recorded for you. This is the voice track that's been recorded. And basically what it does is it leads to a natural sound pop. A natural sound pop is nothing more than a portion of the raw footage where the audio is brought full or brought to that -12 level. So usually when we are working with raw footage or B-roll, usually what we do is we keep the natural sound lower, usually around -24, and we try to mix that with the voice track. We will be doing that. We'll be mixing natural sound audio with the voice track throughout this package. But there will be a couple of times, including here in the beginning, where we're going to take that natural sound audio and we're going to raise it. We're going to bring it full to that -12 level. So that's really what's going to happen here, and I'll show you exactly how this is going to work. So I'm going to bring the timeline back up, and again, what I have done is I have just simply pulled portions of the video that I know I'm going to need. And let me go back for just a second. I probably closed that script out a little bit too soon there. Let me go back for just a second, because you know, by looking at the script, you know that the first soundbite you're going to have is right here. And it's going to say brown jacket, which is just a reference to the guy in the brown jacket who's kind of leading this demonstration. We don't know his name, so we're just referring to him as Brown Jacket. But at 3:55, or 3 minutes and 55 seconds into the video, this is where you will hear Mr. Brown Jacket say, and we are going to continue. And those are, that is the in cue. Those are the first couple of words that we want to hear from him. It says 15, which is 15 seconds, which means he's going to speak for 15 seconds. And the last couple of words that he's going to say are the route of the march. Okay, so again, it's all laid out for you in terms of where to find the soundbite, what the beginning of the soundbite is, how long the soundbite is, and what the end of the soundbite is. So as a result of looking at the script, again, I know that what I'm going to do is I'm going to need a Mr. Brown jacket, and there he is, and I've already cut that portion out of the raw footage. So now, and again, I'm sure you're not going to be able to hear this very well,
and then we're going to continue on.
but anyway, this is that soundbite that was scripted.
Key bank is the next one after that.
Okay, a 15-second bite.
We're going to pause at Fifth Third Bank. We're going to walk all the way back down here. So that's essentially the route of the march.
And that's it. So I've already pulled that. I've also pulled another one. Just to give you an idea, this is the guy that we call Blue Hoodie. All right, again, we do not know his name. He is one of the marchers, and he is giving a testimonial here in front of one of the banks. So we're going to use his soundbite as well. And basically, again, it's the same thing. If you go back to the script, you're able to tell exactly where that is. Here he is. We call him Hoodie and Hat, okay? And his soundbite is at 10:10, or 10 minutes and 10 seconds into the video. He begins the soundbite by saying, "We kept our home." He'll speak for 20 seconds, and he'll end his soundbite. Actually, the soundbite will end with the people cheering, okay? The other people in the march cheering after he gets done talking. So that's what you're going to be working with that. And let me show you here. Again, you probably won't be able to hear it, I realize that, but basically,
no hope or no remorse from the bank whatsoever.
There's his
I
soundbite.
just think that it's wrong, and I think that
And then it's going to get kind of loud here at the end because again, everybody's going to cheer. So I'm guessing that you could probably hear. So that's his soundbite, and that's what you do. That's the easiest way to do this. Use your script, okay? Go through the script and look for those sound bites, and then just simply cut those out of all that raw footage. Now you're still going to need the rest of that raw footage because that is going to become your B-roll. But find your sound bites, cut those out, and that way you can start to build what we call the skeleton. All right, and this is what we were talking about with Justin from ABC 13 the other day. And that is we're going to build this skeleton, which is just going to be nothing more than voice track and sound bites and some natural sound pops, but it is not going to include any B-roll. B-roll is what we're going to do last. We're going to build this skeleton based on audio, and then we'll go back and add the video to it. So here's our first soundbite, or excuse me, here's our first voice track. This is how the actual story begins. All right. So we have this, and the thing you want to do, of course, is you want to watch your levels, making sure, of course, that the voice track is at a -12. It should peak at -12. And you can get it to do that, and I think the easiest way to actually do that is by using the audio mixer, all right? Because if you come into the audio mixer, you may remember we talked about this in a previous video, you can control the 3 channels that you have, audio 1, audio 2, and audio 3. You can control the level of each audio channel just by using this slider or fader. And I think that's easier than trying to go in and find the rubber band and raise or lower it. So we're going to do it this way. And basically what we're going to do is, again, we're going to let it play. So we'll let the story begin. Here's your first soundtrack. And it leads into that natural sound pop that we saw in the script. Okay, so let's bring that over. I happen to have that. That should be, I believe, this piece. It is. So I'm going to bring it over, and I'm just going to add it right next to that voice track. Now notice what I'm doing. I'm putting it in video 1, and the audio is going into audio 1. Still with my voice track in audio 3. Okay. So I can do that, and I can play it, and then I'll have a difference in levels.
To protest the federal government's buyout of several banking companies. The message was clear.
We are the 99%.
And you can see that it got a lot louder. So again, I could come over here and I could just simply go to, in this case, I would go to audio 1, which is over here, and I can bring that down a little bit, and I can try to get that again to my minus 12 level. So let's just see where that turns out.
Was clear.
How about that? Right on. Okay, so again, just adjusting it with the mixer, with the fader or the slider in the mixer makes it pretty easy to do. All right, so I've got that, right? And then let me go back to my script. So so far, what I've done here is I've gotten the beginning voice track, which is right here. The demonstration was called Occupy BG, and I've edited up to this point where it says Natural Sound Pop, okay? So now I go back to voice track. All right, well, again, that voice track is recorded. I've cut it up already. And let me just see here. I'm going to let them chant 2 times. Okay, we are the 99%.
The 99%. We are the 99%.
Okay, so I've already cut that video so that it ends after 2 chants. So now, here's my voice track again. And this is going to be the next part of my story.
99% of the people in the country.
Right? Okay, so let me slide it over. Got it right there. Okay. Let me check the level.
99% of the people in the
Looks
country.
pretty good. 90 or at minus 12 rather. Looks good. So it's peaking right where I want it to.
From banks. And the demonstrators
Okay.
made banks the focus of their march.
And now, if I go back to my script, I will see that that voice track, which is right here, leads into the soundbite from Brown Jacket. Okay, so now I'll go back and I'll find Mr. Brown Jacket and I'll bring him over. And I'm going to keep him, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Let me actually undo that because I don't want it to be stretched. I'm going to drag him and bring him over, and I'm going to drop him again in video 1, okay? And I've got that now, so as I continue to build my,
35%
what we call the skeleton,
The result? People
okay?
need more help
You go
from
from
banks.
voice track
And the
to
demonstrators
soundbite.
made banks the focus of their march.
And then we're going to
There it
continue
is,
on, past
okay?
there.
So I've got that part. And now I just kind of continue this process. I just keep following my script, and I keep adding the audio that I've already cut out, all right? And I then continue to add my video, at least my soundbite, the video of my sound bites that I've also cut out. So let's just let this play through.
Bank is the next one.
And I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change my mind.
Street, we're going to pause at Fifth Third.
What we said was that we wanted to have the voice track in audio 3 or in the A3 channel, but it's actually, and that's fine, that part is good, but it's actually better if we take all of our video, that natural sound pop, and all of our sound bites, we've got those in video 1 right now. It's going to be better if we move those down into video 2, or up rather. No, I'm actually going to leave them there. I'm going to leave them there. I want them in video 1 because I'm going to use video 2 for my B-roll. All right? So I do have it the way I want it. I do have it the way I want it. All the sound bites go into video 1, and the voice track goes into audio 3. Okay? All right, so let's continue then. As I said, I'm going to bring over more voice track, which is going to follow Mr. Brown Jacket. It's going to sound like this then.
All the way back down here. It's essentially the route of the march.
As the demonstrators marched to
Okay,
downtown BG,
level looks good.
they stopped to share their personal experiences with banks.
Okay, and now that leads into the next soundbite, because again, all I have to do is go back to my script, and there's the Brown Jacket bite. That's followed by the voice track here, which is followed by the next soundbite, which is the guy in the hoodie and the hat. And I've got him all ready to go, so I bring him over, drop him in.
Okay, back at 3, 2.
Okay, so now that's good. That's good. What happened there was, which you couldn't hear, I don't think, but what happened there was we ran into a little bit of an issue because we didn't end the sound, or we didn't end the voice track where it needed to
Share
stop.
their personal experiences with banks.
And that's where it needs to stop. Because again, if I go back to my script, personal experiences with banks, right there. That's the last words of that particular voice track. No problem. I just need to trim it right there, okay? So I'm going to bring my razor blade over and get rid of that little excess of audio. Again, you couldn't hear it, but we don't want it. So now I'm going to bring over, again, the guy in the hoodie and the hat. Soundbite from guy in brown jacket, back to voice track, and then on to the guy in the blue hoodie wearing the hat.
And we kept our home though.
There it is.
But I know others have lost it, and I
So let me stretch this out a little bit so you can see it better. And that's basically what we've got, okay? So we have, again, voice track, and then we have a little bit of a natural sound pop, back to voice track, back to a sound bite from Mr. Brown Jacket, back to voice track, back to another sound bite from the guy in the blue hoodie, and on we go until we end up finishing our story. But this is the idea. This is what you want. This is a skeleton. This is building the story in its entirety with audio only. Then I can go back and I can fill in the black holes, again, as we were talking about with Justin the other day during our conference call. This is what he was talking about. He referred to black holes in a package. This is exactly what he means. And now we go back and we put in the video, the B-roll that we need to fill those black holes. So it's really pretty simple. And again, that B-roll video will go into voice or into video track 2. The video will go into video track 2 for the B-roll. The audio will go into audio track 2. And now you've got everything mixed together. And of course, the other thing that makes that easier to do is, remember, if you use video track 2 for your video, you can let it overlap just a little bit once it gets to the sound bite. Say I'm filling in this hole right here, okay? If I'm filling in this hole with B-roll video, I can let that B-roll video continue over the start of my sound bite, and I've created an audio foreshadow by doing so. So again, it's a lot easier if you put your B-roll into video 2, your sound bites into video 1, and then make sure that the voice track audio is in audio 3. So that's the idea, guys. Just simply build that skeleton, and now go back, once you've got that skeleton built, once you've got all your sound bites in place, once you're finished with the voice track, just simply go back in, and again, fill it in with the B-roll, and you're done. This is a very quick way to do it, and it's a very easy way. It's also the best way to establish audio-video correlation. I'm going to come over here for just a second because I wanted to show you what we were talking about the other day when we talked to Justin during our conference call. Before that, when we were meeting as a class, we talked about the pen tool, right? So I'm going to open this up. This is the soundbite of the guy in the blue hoodie. And again, remembering that when he gets done talking, what happens is people start to cheer. Whoa, way too loud, okay? So just back it up a little bit, and let's watch his soundbite is right at -12. So that looks good, but then it starts getting loud at the end when everybody starts to cheer. All right, the pen tool. We turn to the pen tool because that's what's going to help us lower, right? It's going to help us lower that audio of the cheering because it's too loud. All right, so we come in here. We know already that it's in video 1. Actually, it dropped into video 2. It should go into video 1. Okay, in video 1, and I'm going to open up video 1, and I'm going to use my rubber band with my pen tool. Again, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to grab my pen tool from the toolbar. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to put a dot right about where they start to cheer. I'm going to put a dot right next to where the cheering begins. And then I'm going to put a dot at the end of my clip. All right? So I've got 3 dots in there. One before they start to cheer, one when they start to cheer, and then one at the very end of my clip. All right, so now I can just grab the one at the very end and gradually pull it down, and that gives me that fade of the cheering. Okay, so it'll fade out gradually, and it won't be so loud. And again, I know you can't hear it, but just watching the audio level, you can see it got no higher than -12. So that made a nice, smooth transition. Okay, a nice, smooth audio transition. And all we did was simply use that pen tool from over here in the toolbar. Okay? Hopefully you guys remember that because, as I said, we did discuss it the other day during our conference call. So that's it. Build your skeleton, right? Just build your skeleton, and it makes it a lot easier because now all you have to do, literally all you have to do, is just simply lay in your video, your B-roll, fill in your black holes, and you're done. Go by your script, follow it closely, look at it, see what sound bites you need, find those sound bites, cut those out just like I did so you can work with them and maneuver them easily on the timeline. Same thing with the voice track, okay? Cut it up. Now, again, remember, there's going to be some mistakes in there. There's a couple of times that the voice track starts over. Don't use the bad parts, just use the good parts, okay? But cut it up so that you have just the good parts so you can work with those easily. Cut up your sound bites, cut up your voice track, and then just piece it together. It's really that easy. Once you've got that skeleton built, add your B-roll, mix your audio, mix your natural sound audio. It's going to drop into audio 2, as we said, and then you can adjust that by using the mixer, the audio mixer over here, and you can actually end up with a very nice mix of natural sound audio from your B-roll and the voice track. So that's the way it should be done. Hopefully that'll work for you pretty easily. And if you do have any questions, we'll be talking about it. We'll be talking about it during some WebEx conference calls, and we'll answer any questions that you have. So take a look at it, play with it a little bit, and get a good feel for it. And I think you'll have some fun actually putting it together. If you like editing, if you found that you like editing better than shooting, this will be a good project for you.